Hey guys, this is a Neverending Reader and I'm Brittany and welcome to my May TBR. So I know I've been pretty absent on here, and that is because I had a lot of shit going on last month. Primarily we moved and I graduated. Yay! But this is actually my second time filming this video. I filmed it last week and the footage was just shit. I'm like trying to get used to my new setup. And quick disclaimer, if it looks like I just crawled out of my grave, that's because all my makeup is at my mom's house, so you're just gonna have to deal with me looking like this today. So the first books that I'd like to talk about today are actually books that I am reading to take part in the mental healthathon, and that is running the entire month. It is hosted by, I believe, A Beautiful Chaos of Books. I will leave it linked below, but the first thing that I'm going to read for Mental Healthathon is Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. Spoiler alert, I already read this and finished it and loved it. So I read this for the challenge of schizophrenia representation, and our main character in this book, Alex, has paranoid schizophrenia. She's diagnosed with it, and our book opens with her as a young girl and she is in a grocery store and she like sees these lobsters and she's like, yeah, I need to free these lobsters, and she's like 7 years old, and so she like sees this boy and she's like, hey, like help me free these lobsters. And so like he like helps her free the lobsters and she like really likes this boy and he's got like these bright blue eyes and she thinks he's pretty cool. But then she like later finds out that like she never freed any lobsters and this boy was a hallucination. So fast forward a few years, she's now like entering a new high school for reasons that we don't know for a little while, and she meets a boy that she is certain is the boy from the grocery store, but she's been told that that boy was a hallucination, so she like doesn't know what to believe. I'm not super sure how accurate the schizophrenia representation is on this. I don't think it's own voices, but I am honestly not sure. But I really did like this, and you will hear more about it in my wrap-up. The next book that I want to read for Mental Healthathon is Impulse by Ellen Hopkins. I'm trying to read all of her books and like get them off my shelves, so this one kind of fit into the depression representation. So I believe this is about three teenagers, and they are all suicidal. I think maybe they're all in the same like institution together, like getting therapy. I'm not really sure, but I plan to actually read this on Scribd and unhaul this. And the reason I'm unhauling all of Ellen Hopkins' books is because they take up too much space on my shelves. They're like really chunky and I just don't want them on my shelves anymore. I have like other things I need space for, so I'm gonna read this on Scribd and probably donate this to the Little Children's Library. And the last book that I plan to read for Mental Healthathon is going to be Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. I believe that this is a true story because it said on the back that it's a memoir, but this actually fits the bill for the personality disorder representation because I believe Susanna has a personality disorder. I watched this movie a million times. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I didn't even know that it was a book until recently, so I am really thrilled to be reading this soon. Okay, moving on to the other things that I'll be reading this month. I actually already filmed this video, which I already told you guys, and so I had already picked from my TBR jar, and I lost the footage for it, and the video is just garbage anyway, so I'm just going to show you what I actually picked from the jar. So the first thing is The Memory Keeper's Daughter by Kim Edwards. I actually recently looked at the reviews of this online and I was thoroughly unimpressed, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and unhaul this, which was kind of the point of having a TBR jar because like I want to get through all of my unread books and the reviews of this did not look promising, so I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to unhaul this. So stay tuned for that in a future video. But I also picked out A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. So I've had this for like quite some time, but the back of the book says, when Adam Blake lands the best elective ever the senior year, serving as an aide to the school psychologist, he thinks he's got it made. Sure, it means a lot of sitting around, which isn't easy for a guy with ADHD, but he can't complain since he gets to spend the period texting all his friends. Then the doctor asks him to track down a troubled freshman who keeps dodging her, and Adam discovers that the boy is Julian, the foster brother he hasn't seen in 5 years. So I'm not going to read further than that, but very excited to get to this. I bought it so long ago at Walmart for $9. The sticker's still on there. So I am pretty pumped to actually get to this now. The next book that I pulled out of my TBR jar was Manhattan Beach by Jennifer Egan, and I'm just going to read you a paragraph off the back of this too because it's kind of confusing. So it says, it opens in Brooklyn during the Great Depression, and Anna, nearly 12 years old, accompanies her father to the house of Dexter Stiles, a man who, she gleans, is crucial to the survival of her father and her family. Years later, her father has disappeared and the country is at war. Anna works in the Brooklyn Naval Yard where women are allowed to hold jobs that had always belonged to men. She becomes the first female diver, the most dangerous and exclusive of occupations, repairing ships that will help America win the war. So like that sounds pretty interesting. I do love some historical fiction, and the diving profession is something that I'm very interested in, so I'm happy to give this a read. And the last book I pulled out of my TBR jar was I Darken by It, Kirsten White. I actually started reading this. I think I am 80 pages into it right now. Yeah, so I'm a little bit confused. I'm loving it so far, but what I'm confused about is I thought that this was a Vlad the Impaler retelling, but now I think it's actually like a gender swapped Vlad the Impaler retelling, because our main character Lada, like the dates are matching up to where she would actually be Vlad, and so like I'm a bit confused, but I'm super intrigued. I love historical fiction, as I've said, and this is like YA historical fiction, and the main character is like an absolute badass, which is my favorite. I love feminine badasses. So I am super excited to continue this. I'm hoping to knock out a decent chunk of this tonight while I'm relaxing, because I am very much enjoying this book so far. And the last book that is on my TBR this month is going to be The Bride Test by Helen Huang. I am so fucking excited for this. Sophie actually sent me another surprise. I literally got to my mailbox and there was like a package, and I was like, Brittany, did you like just sleep order something off Amazon? And then I opened it and literally it was this book from Sophie, because she is my twin and she knows I really, really wanted to read this. Last year she sent me The Kiss Quotient, and it fucking changed my life, because I thought I didn't like romance until I read The Kiss Quotient, and now I'm like, I really like romance. I think I just like a particular brand of romance, so I was very much anticipating this. So this follows one of our side characters, Kai, and he is on the spectrum, and I believe like Sophie had said that his mother like goes to Vietnam maybe to find him a wife, and she comes back. I think her name was Esme, and I don't know, it's probably their love story, and I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited. I want to read this as soon as I finish And I Darken. So this is going to be an exciting reading month for me. And for the sake of surprise in this video, since I actually unhauled The Memory Keeper's Daughter that I pulled from my TBR jar, I'm just going to go ahead and pull a new one, since I wanted to do 4 a month and now I only have 3, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull something. Just so you guys know, I just moved, so all of my books are like everywhere. If I can't find it, then I will pick a new one. So it looks like we have Belzar. Cool! So here it is, Belzar by Meg Wolitzer. I heard about this a long time ago, and I think that the channel I heard it off of was Molly Reads, but I'm not super positive about it. I just vaguely remember her maybe like unboxing this and reading the synopsis or something, and I was like, I really want that. So I ended up ordering it like last year off Book Outlet, and it says it's about a woman who is at a therapeutic boarding school in rural Vermont. I believe it like says maybe her boyfriend has died, because it mentions that she's mourning, but she's taking this class called Special Topics in English that focuses only and entirely on the works of Sylvia Plath. So if you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of Sylvia Plath, so I am very excited for this. That's so cool. I like have a really good TBR jar month. So these are the books that I'm planning on getting to this month. I think I'm gonna have a pretty decent reading month, and I really needed one of those, because honestly, I've not been living my best reading month lives like at all. January, February, March, April, all, man, I'm glad they're over. So I'm going to wrap this video up, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!